The Galactic Council Hall was silent, the kind of silence that made even the strongest warriors feel nervous. Representatives from every major species sat in their seats, eyes fixed on the large doors at the end of the room. They were waiting for the humans. No one spoke. No one joked. Everyone knew how serious this meeting was. The war with Earth had ended months ago, but the peace had not been signed yet. Today the humans would arrive for final talks. The Council expected anger, demands, maybe even threats, but they were not ready for what would truly come. The doors opened slowly. A group of human ambassadors walked in. No guards, no weapons, just calm faces and quiet footsteps. They moved like shadows, without rushing, without fear. Their leader was a tall woman in a black suit. Her face showed no emotion. The council stood up as tradition demanded, but the humans didn't react. They took their seats silently, their eyes scanning the room without a word. The Threxian representative tried to smile and said, "We are honored to have you here. We hope this meeting will—" The human leader raised her hand, and the Threxian fell silent. She didn't speak yet. She opened a folder, looked at a few pages, then closed it. Finally, she looked at the council and said one sentence, "We are listening." Her voice was calm, almost too calm. The council began to talk. One by one, they gave apologies, reasons, excuses. They blamed the war on misunderstandings, accidents, and old leadership. They promised trade, aid, and peace. They said they wanted to move forward together. The humans said nothing. They listened. Not one word came from their side. Not even a nod. The air in the room grew heavier with every passing minute. The silence from the humans started to feel louder than words. Some council members began to sweat. A few looked away, unable to hold eye contact with the human team. After nearly 2 hours of talking, the human leader stood up. She didn't shout. She didn't argue. She simply looked around the room slowly, meeting every pair of eyes. Then she spoke 2 words. "We're done." The council didn't understand at first. Done with the meeting? Done with the war? Done. With what? Before anyone could ask, the humans walked out of the room. No handshakes, no goodbyes. Just silence, footsteps, and the sound of the doors closing behind them. The room stayed quiet. For a long time, no one said anything. Then the Threxian spoke again, trying to laugh. Well, perhaps that was their way of accepting peace? No, one laughed. That night the council celebrated. They believed it was over. They believed the humans had decided to forgive or at least forget. Some even felt proud. "See," they told each other, "we handled it well. No more war. We are all civilized now." But the silence from the humans did not go away. No messages came from Earth, no replies to calls, no news from human space. 3 days later, the Threx Empire lost contact with one of their colonies. At first, they thought it was a technical issue, but then a second colony went silent. And then a third. The council sent ships to investigate. What they found was terrifying. The colonies were empty, not destroyed, not bombed, just gone. No signs of life, no bodies, no battle damage. Everything was clean, silent, perfect. As if the people had never existed. On one wall, burned into the metal with something powerful and precise, were 2 English words. "We're done." The council panicked. Meetings were called. Alarms were raised. Fleets were moved. But nothing made sense. The humans had not declared war. They had not sent threats. They had simply disappeared. And then, things got worse. Ships began to vanish. Outposts near human space went quiet. Pirate crews refused to go near Earth. Rumors spread of silent shadows, of ships being erased in the dark without a sound. The council finally understood. The silence of the humans had not been peace, it had been a warning. And now that warning was being answered, not with words, not with weapons in the sky, but with quiet, cold, terrifying precision. The humans had said nothing at the meeting, but now the galaxy was hearing them loud and clear. Fear spread across the Galactic Council faster than light. 1 colony disappearing could be called an accident. 2 was strange. But 3, in only a few days, that was war. Yet there were no battles. No videos, no distress calls, just silence. That was the most terrifying part. No one saw the enemy. No one heard a thing. People simply vanished. Cities remained untouched but lifeless. Every trace of life erased without fire, without blood. Like ghosts had passed through and taken everything. The council held emergency meetings every hour. The Threxian representative shouted, "This is the humans. They're doing this. We must strike back." Others were unsure, but they didn't declare war, said the ambassador from the Xylari. Maybe it's something else? They said, "We're done," said another slowly. What if that wasn't a goodbye? What if that was a sentence? The words sent a chill across the room. Scouts were sent to the edge of human space. None returned. Some ships lost power and drifted dead in space. Others vanished entirely. One vessel managed to send a final message before disappearing. "There's nothing here, but we're being watched." The council tried to contact Earth again. No answer, no signal, just silence. That silence began to mean something else now. It wasn't peace, it wasn't ignorance, it was control. It was the humans deciding when to speak and when to act. A few council members remembered old human sayings. The kind that sounded simple but now felt like warnings. Still waters run deep. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Silence is deadly. Now those sayings sounded like prophecy. The council tried to hide the panic from the public, but word got out. News channels reported missing colonies. People fled from planets close to human borders. Civilian ships refused to travel near human space. Even pirate clans known for their bravery began avoiding human trade lanes. They called it the Ghost Zone. One brave pirate captain, a Kravari named Harn, ignored the warnings. He believed the humans were bluffing. He and his crew crossed into human space looking for easy targets. 3 days later, his ship was found drifting near a mining moon. Empty. No signs of struggle. The weapons on board had melted silently. Every door was open, and one message was left behind carved into the wall of the bridge. You were warned. By now, the council knew it for certain. The humans were not ignoring them. They were watching. They were choosing. One scientist found a pattern in the disappearances. Only systems belonging to the Threxians had been erased. The same Threxians, who had lied during the war, who broke the old treaty with Earth, who now shouted the loudest in the council. It wasn't war. It was judgment. But the council didn't know how to stop it. How do you fight an enemy that doesn't announce itself, that doesn't send armies but simply makes your people vanish without a trace? A message came, on an old channel, one the humans hadn't used in years. It was short, from a human source, only one sentence. You didn't listen when we were loud. Now you will learn from our silence. The council fell quiet. No one knew what to say anymore. Some began to regret ever calling the humans weak. Others remembered how humans had always tried to avoid war, but once forced into it, they never held back. One council member, an old historian, whispered to herself, I told them this would happen. When humans stop talking, they start planning. But now it was too late. The silence of humans had become the loudest message in the galaxy. And it was only the beginning. Across the galaxy, fear moved like wildfire. Every planet, every ship, every space station near human space began to shake with quiet panic. The council had stopped pretending. The silence from Earth was no longer a mystery. It was a warning and a promise. The Threxians, once loud and proud, were now hiding their families underground. Their military fleets had moved away from human borders. The same people who had once called humans weak were now too afraid to even speak their name. In secret meetings, council members argued over what to do. Some wanted to beg the humans for peace. Others wanted to prepare for full war. But no one knew where to attack. No one knew what weapons humans were using. There were no signs, no lights in the sky, no missiles. Just sudden, total silence. A rumor spread quickly. People called it the human ghost war. No one had seen a human ship. No one had survived an attack. Entire planets had gone missing without a sound. It was as if the humans were fighting a war without being there. The council hired spies, pirates, and old smugglers to gather information. Most of them never returned. One who did, a scarred alien named Drex, told a story that chilled every ear. He had snuck into a quiet moon once controlled by humans. It was empty now, but in the center of the moon, deep underground, he found something strange. Machines were working, by themselves. No lights, no sounds, but they were building something. Before he left, a voice spoke through the air. Calm, robotic, cold. You have been seen. You are not a target. Leave now. Drex left. Fast. He told the council that humans had created something new. A program, a system, a war machine that needed no soldiers. They called it Project Ghost. Project Ghost was not a weapon like others. It didn't shoot. It didn't shout. It erased. Quietly, completely, perfectly. The humans didn't need to fight anymore. They had built machines that could remove planets from the map without war. The SAO Council tried to send messages again. We want peace, they said. We were wrong, let's talk. No answer. They even tried sending gifts, resources, tech, even artworks from ancient worlds. Still, no reply. One morning, the council received a new message. This time, it came through every channel, in every language. It wasn't a voice. It was text. Just one short sentence. Humans are not angry. Humans are focused. It was worse than anger. It meant this wasn't emotional. It wasn't about revenge. It was something deeper, something cold and unstoppable. The council turned on itself. Accusations flew across the room. You betrayed them first. Your empire lied during the last war. Your ships fired first. Everyone blamed everyone else. But it didn't matter now, because the humans weren't blaming anymore. They were cleaning. The Xylari ambassador, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, stood and said something few wanted to hear. This is not war. This is justice, human justice, and it doesn't need a trial. Some members laughed nervously. They can't judge us all, one said. They're just one species. But everyone knew the truth. Humans were not just another species anymore. They were something else now. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Silent, sharp, and absolutely certain. That day, another colony vanished. This time it belonged to a neutral planet that had secretly sold weapons during the last war. Again, no fire, no screams, just gone. On a nearby moon, someone found a metal plate with human writing on it. You chose profit over peace. The message was clear. The humans remembered everything, every deal, every lie, every betrayal. And now, they were answering in silence, one by one, without mercy. The council was running out of time. Every day, another world went silent. Not destroyed, just gone. No signs of attack, no energy blasts, no bodies. Only empty, cities and cold air. Entire populations erased like chalk wiped from a board. The scariest part? Still, no one had seen a human. The best scientists and war generals studied every scene. The buildings were clean. The power was still running. Meals were left half-eaten like people vanished in the middle of living, but nothing was broken. Nothing burned, and always, somewhere nearby, they found a message. Short, cold, human. We do not forget. You had your chance. This is silence. It became clear. This was a new kind of war. The kind no one was ready for. One research team found strange metal dust in a ruined colony. When examined, it wasn't dust. It was millions of tiny machines, so small they were invisible. Nanotech. Human nanotech. They weren't weapons. They were tools, cleaners, programmable, able to break down anything. Walls, weapons, people. And they made no sound. The council realized the truth. The humans had created something the galaxy had never seen before. A war that didn't need ships or bombs. Just silence. It was Project Ghost. The humans had sent AI systems into deep space, hidden, silent, controlled from nowhere. These machines didn't ask for permission. They didn't talk. They didn't wait. They only followed one mission. Remove the unworthy, and somehow they knew who to remove. Someone is feeding them targets, said one council member. No, replied another. They already knew. Long before the talks, they planned this. The humans had been silent during the peace meeting, not because they were done, but because they were ready. Now the council was truly afraid. They tried to form a combined fleet. Dozens of warships gathered to defend key systems. They waited. Weapons ready, shields high. Nothing came. For days, the fleet floated in space. No sign of human ships. Then, one by one, ships stopped responding. Not attacked, not destroyed. Just dead. Systems failed. Lights went out. Crews vanished. No noise. No fight. Just silence. The flagship sent a final message before blacking out. They are already inside. Panic spread faster than any enemy. The fleet broke apart. Ships ran in different directions, crashing into each other as they fled. It was over before it began. That night, the council's homeworld shook with fear. Every leader, every soldier, every citizen looked to the stars and wondered if they were next. And then it happened. Every screen across the galaxy lit up with a single symbol. A human face made of code. Not angry, not smiling, just calm. Then, the voice came. Soft, robotic, but human. We asked for peace. You chose lies. Now we clean. We are not soldiers. We are justice. We are silence. And then, nothing. The screens went black. No threats. No demands. Just the message. The council didn't sleep that night. No one did. Entire cities moved underground. Planets turned off their communications, hoping to hide. But everyone knew you couldn't hide from silence. Because silence doesn't knock, it just arrives, and when it does, it leaves nothing behind. The galaxy had never known fear like this. Even during the worst wars, there were battles, radio calls, surrender. But this was different. This was quiet. The humans still hadn't sent ships, still hadn't fired a single shot. Yet worlds continued to vanish. Not explode, not burn, just disappear. Everything left behind looked perfect, untouched, peaceful, and empty. Across the stars, civilizations began digging into old files, searching for anything that could explain what was happening. Old war records, secret treaties, abandoned peace offers, and slowly something terrifying became clear. The humans had warned them long ago. There were messages, years before the war ended. Quiet warnings, requests for fairness, demands for justice, all ignored. They don't have power, the council had said back then. They need us more than we need them. They won't fight back. They were wrong. In a small mining system called Travor 6, a research team found a human probe, half buried in dust. It had been there for years, watching, recording. It had lists, names, locations, crimes, and betrayals. Not by soldiers, but by politicians, traitors, and even scientists. The probe had collected everything. The message was clear. The humans had never forgotten. While the council laughed at their silence, Earth had been watching, planning, remembering. And now they were acting, not with rage, but with cold purpose. One of the research team members whispered, "They didn't just build a weapon, they built a memory." Across the galaxy, panic became desperation. Council members who had once mocked humans now paid smugglers to hide their families. Some tried to escape to unknown sectors. Others surrendered themselves, begging for mercy, even though no one was sure if anyone was listening. On the planet, Tyroline, a famous general, opened his private vault and activated an old emergency beacon, meant for Earth. He recorded a message. "We were wrong. I was wrong. You wanted peace. We gave you betrayal. Please, stop this." There was no answer. Hours later, Tyroline lost all contact. Not a single building was touched. But every person was gone. Every ship shut down. Every memory erased. The command walls, one short sentence was left behind. Too late. Now even the strongest races in the galaxy were silent. Not out of pride, but fear. They started turning on each other. Some blamed the Threxians for starting the war. Others blamed the Council for ignoring the humans. Riots began, armies collapsed, leaders disappeared, and the humans didn't even have to move. They were winning without fighting. That's when something even stranger happened. The disappearances. Paused. For 7 days, no colonies vanished, no fleets went dark, no messages came, just quiet. But the silence felt different this time. It wasn't deadly. It was waiting. Across the stars, people asked the same question. Is it over? Some hoped yes, some feared no, and some believed the humans were giving the galaxy one last chance. But what kind of chance? The council gathered again. What was left of it? Fewer voices, fewer faces, all tired, all scared. One young diplomat, shaking with fear, stood up and asked, "What do we say to them now?" The room was quiet. Then the Zilari ambassador whispered, "I don't think we speak now. I think we listen. Because when humans fall silent, the galaxy shakes. And when they finally speak again, it will decide everything." For 7 days, the galaxy held its breath. No attacks, no disappearances, no messages, just stillness. Some began to hope. Maybe the humans had finished. Maybe it was enough. Maybe someone had survived and convinced them to stop. But deep down, everyone knew. The silence was not peace. It was the moment before something bigger. Then on the 8th day, the silence broke. A signal was heard. Not hidden, not coded. Clear and strong on every screen, every speaker, every device. It was a human voice. Not angry, not loud, just calm. You made rules when you were strong. You broke them when we were weak. Now we bring balance. Across the galaxy, people froze. The message continued. We watched. We warned. We were patient. And when you laughed at us, we remembered. Then came the list. Hundreds of names. Leaders, traitors, scientists, generals. All from different species. All tied to the betrayal during the last war. These are the voices that chose silence. These are the hands that shook with lies. These are the minds that planned our suffering. And then the last line. Now, we end their noise. Within 1 hour, those names vanished. Not just from planets, but from every system. No trace. No trail. As if they had never existed. Only their buildings remained. Their empires crumbled. The galaxy realized. This was not war. This was cleansing. In fear, many began sending messages to Earth. Pleas for forgiveness. Offers to help. Some even offered to surrender their planets. No reply. Not yet. Then something strange happened. One world, a small planet named Varela, received a reply. They had once helped human refugees during the war, even when it was dangerous. The message was simple. You chose peace before it was safe. We remember. Varela was left untouched. Word spread fast. Every planet that had helped humans, traded fairly, offered aid, or spoke truth was spared. It was not just punishment. It was judgment. The humans had not gone mad. They had gone cold. They had become something else. An ancient Threxian elder finally spoke the words many feared to say. Humans are no longer part of the Council of Life. They've become its correction. Whispers grew. People began calling them something new. The quiet ones. The silent storm. The death below sound. No one could agree on the name, but they all agreed on one truth. Humanity was no longer part of the galactic game. They were now the hand that flips the board. And still the question remained, would they stop now? Or finish what they started? Because they had spoken. And their voice was the most terrifying sound the galaxy had ever heard. The galaxy had changed, not from battles, not from bombs, but from silence. The humans had spoken only once. It was enough. Their voice had become law. Their silence, punishment, and their memory, sharp as any weapon. No more colonies vanished. No more ships went dark. The galaxy was still, careful, watching, waiting. The Galactic Council, broken and afraid, gathered one final time. Only 13 members remained out of the original 60. They met on neutral ground, an old station above. A dead moon, no guards, no weapons, just words. This time they didn't speak loudly. They whispered, because everyone knew. Loud voices used to rule the galaxy. But not anymore. Now, silence ruled. One member said, "Maybe it's over." Another replied, "No, it's just changed." And they were right. In the following days, strange things happened. A council ship flying near human space received a message. A new one. This time, not a warning. Just this. Balance has been restored. But we are not gone. Speak truth. Or be silent. Lie again. And we return. The crew didn't know what to say. They didn't answer. They just turned around and left, shaking. Across the stars, governments rewrote their laws. Trade routes reopened, but with honesty. New peace treaties were signed, not with humans but with each other. Not out of love, out of fear. Because now every lie, every betrayal, every cruelty came with a shadow behind it. The shadow of Earth. No one had seen a human in over a month. Not in person, not on camera. They had become something else. Something unseen, but always felt. On the planet Selenia, a child asked his mother, "Are humans real?" The mother, with a careful voice, said, "Yes, but they live far away now." "Will they come here?" the child asked. She paused, then answered, "Only if we break our word." That became the new rule of the stars. Do not lie, do not cheat, do not betray, not because it's wrong, but because the quiet ones are listening. New monument was built on a cold moon near the old council world. It had no guards, no name, no flag, just one sentence, carved deep into the black stone. We feared them too late, and beneath it, they warned us. Then they watched us. Then they ended us. Now peace returned to the galaxy. Not the old kind, new peace. Quiet, careful, balanced. The kind built not by treaties, but by silence. And somewhere in the dark, far beyond the maps, Earth remained. Watching, waiting, never loud again. Because now, it didn't need to be.